Honorable mention for me, though, has to go to this team right behind me on the wall, the Seattle Kraken. Getting Shane Wright at 4th overall was an absolute steal. You know, like there's been a lot of talk about that pick, and we're going to get into that with when Alan Atmansky joins us later in the show, because obviously he's a big Habs guy. But getting Shane Wright at 4 was incredible. I don't think Seattle even thought that was a possibility at all. And even the teams before them, you know, New Jersey at 2, it was pretty clear they wanted a defenseman. I don't think we knew that going in, but it was pretty clear they had their guy. And then for Arizona at 3, when they took Cooley, it was like they probably didn't even interview Shane Wright. They probably didn't have him on the radar because I didn't think they'd get an opportunity. So then when it comes time to pick between Shane Wright, a guy you really don't know, and Logan Cooley, a guy who you've been, you know, thinking is going to be the next Arizona Coyote for the last, you know, however many months, because he's been slotted at that number 3 spot forever, you're kind of just more familiar with Cooley. And I think that's why they made that pick. And then Seattle just goes, oh, this is great. Shane Wright could be a generational player falling into our laps here. Like, that's fantastic. And then they also picked up Jagger Firkus in the second round there at 35th overall, which I thought was another excellent pick. So honorable mention to Seattle there.
Also on the all teams name is Jagger Firkus, first of all.
That guy looks like a Jagger Firkus too.
So I mean, we talked about when we did the projections, I had Seattle taking a defenseman because it's a great way to build through the draft. But that's because the 2 best centermen were already taken in Shane Wright and Logan Cooley. Yeah. But the total best way to build a team is through the middle. And we've seen that countless times in the NHL. And while Matty Beniers and Shane Wright up the middle to start your franchise out, like that's a good way to do it. That's for sure. I mean, Vegas certainly doesn't have that center strength that you're seeing in Seattle being built. We haven't seen it yet, but it's going to come. And Chad, the one more that I pointed out was before was Tucker Robertson, who was second in OHL scoring in this draft, and they got him in the 4th round. So that's another absolute steal for them.
Yeah. So was he an overager case? Like, was he 19 this year to get drafted? Is that why he led scoring and dropped so far? Like, I didn't.
Yeah, he was 19. Like, okay. He's not going to score that many points and then go in the 4th round in a regular draft. But I still think that, you know, after a OHL season where we saw no one play a game, this was going to happen with an overage player.
Yeah, I understand why, you know, a guy like that will fall because he's a year older than everybody else, but still putting up great numbers. But at a certain point, like, don't you think that's just a positive because he's a year closer to playing in the NHL? Like, I know you can say, oh, he didn't produce in his previous years when he was younger compared to like his draft class, but I don't know, man. Like, as a team that wants to contend, I think the quicker you can get a player into the league, the better, you know?
Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, no, like I said, with them not playing a single game the year before, like, who knows what Tucker Robertson would have done last year and where he would have been drafted in 2021. So I think it's easier to take a swing on an overage player in this year than any other year.
Totally.